Princess Zara had always possessed her mother's razor-sharp wit and her people's natural arrogance. Standing 7 feet tall, with skin that shimmered like polished obsidian and eyes that burned with inner fire, she was the epitome of draconian nobility. So when the human delegation arrived at the Crystal Citadel, seeking an audience, her first instinct was to dismiss them entirely. The human warrior who stepped forward from their group was particularly amusing to her. He stood barely 6 feet tall, a child, by her people's standards, with weathered brown skin and graying hair that spoke of countless battles. His armor was primitive by draconian technology, little more than reinforced metal plates that wouldn't withstand a single blast from their plasma weapons. "Your Majesty," the human said, bowing respectfully to Queen Vexara, "I am Commander James Sullivan of the Terran Defense Corps. We come seeking an alliance against the Void Swarm." Zara couldn't contain her mirth. The sound that escaped her throat was like crystalline bells mixed with distant thunder, beautiful and terrifying simultaneously. "This is what humanity sends as their champion?" she asked, her voice dripping with disdain. "An aging warrior with outdated weapons, asking for help from a superior race?" Her mother, Queen Vexara, sat motionless on her throne of living crystal, studying the human with an intensity that made the air itself seem to vibrate. The queen's massive form, nearly 9 feet tall and radiating power that could level cities, remained perfectly still. "Tell me, human," Zara continued, circling Commander Sullivan like a predator, "what could your primitive species possibly offer the mighty Draconian Empire? We have ships that can crack moons, weapons that can boil oceans, and warriors who can survive in the vacuum of space. What use are you to us?" The human's jaw tightened, but he maintained his composure. "Respectfully, Princess, we offer something your people seem to have lost: humility. And perhaps more importantly, we offer knowledge of the swarm's true nature." "Humility?" Zara's laugh echoed through the throne room, causing several courtiers to step back nervously. "That's what you call weakness, isn't it? We dragons bow to no one, human. We are apex predators, evolved beyond your comprehension." Commander Sullivan's eyes flicked briefly to Queen Vexara before returning to Zara. "Perhaps, but apex predators can still fall to the right opponent. The Void Swarm consumed the Centauri Coalition in 3 days. The Coalition had technology rivaling your own." "Impossible," Zara scoffed. "Nothing rivals Draconian." Silence. The single word from Queen Vexara carried such authority that every being in the throne room instantly obeyed. The queen rose from her throne, her massive wings partially unfurling as she descended the crystal steps. The temperature in the room dropped noticeably as she approached the human delegation. 23 years ago," the queen said, her voice like distant thunder, "I was not yet queen. I was a young explorer, proud and foolish, convinced of my own invincibility. I led a scouting mission to a remote system where we encountered a human research vessel under attack by Void Scouts." Zara's expression shifted from amusement to confusion. Her mother had never spoken of this before. The human ship was outmatched, their weapons useless against Void armor. They should have died. Queen Vexara stopped directly in front of Commander Sullivan, studying his face with an intensity that made the air crackle with energy. But their commander refused to surrender. He used his ship as a ram, sacrificing his vessel and crew to destroy the Void mothership and save my people. The throne room had fallen into absolute silence. Even the ever-present hum of the city's power cores seemed muted. "That commander," the queen continued, her voice carrying across the vast chamber, "survived the crash. I found him in the wreckage, broken but alive. For 3 days, I tended his wounds while we waited for rescue. In those 3 days, I learned that humans possess something we Draconians had forgotten: the courage to sacrifice everything for others." Commander Sullivan's weathered face had gone pale. "Vexara," he whispered, using the Queen's name without title, something that would normally result in immediate execution. When my people arrived to rescue us, the Queen continued, I made a choice. I told them the human had died in the crash. I arranged for his transport to a neutral world, where he could recover and return to his people. I never told him why. Zara's world was tilting on its axis. Mother, what are you? I was pregnant, Queen Vexara said simply. Draconian human hybrids were thought impossible, but life finds a way. I bore a daughter who possessed the best of both species, the strength and intelligence of our people, combined with the compassion and adaptability of humanity. The silence that followed was deafening. Zara stared at her mother, then at the human commander, her mind struggling to process the revelation. Her entire identity, built on assumptions of racial superiority and pure-blooded nobility, crumbled in an instant. Commander Sullivan looked at Zara with new eyes, seeing for the first time the subtle differences that marked her as unique among her people, the slightly more human proportions, the warmth behind her fiery gaze, the compassion she worked so hard to hide beneath layers of arrogance. You gave her my name, he said softly, recognizing the connection between his surname and her given name. Zara Sullivan, the Queen confirmed, Princess of the Draconian Empire and daughter of the bravest human I have ever known. The young princess, no longer quite so young or quite so certain, stood frozen between two worlds. The human warrior she had mocked moments before was her father, and everything she thought she knew about strength, superiority, and what it meant to be draconian had been built on incomplete truths. In that moment, as the Void Swarm continued its inexorable advance across the galaxy, three very different beings discovered that sometimes the most important alliances are forged not in throne rooms or battlefields, but in the recognition of shared blood and common purpose. The laughter had died, replaced by something far more powerful: understanding. Some offers, he reflected, were worth risking everything for.